Hello, my name's Dawn Ringrose, and today I have Jill Palitsky as my guest. Jill works as a project management professional and also has a background in accounting. She's worked over the years on a number of very interesting projects in the IT field. And she's just completed the Organizational Excellence Framework workshop and has been applying the learning to her organization and realizing that there's some real parallels to what goes on at the corporate level and the project level. So I'm pleased to welcome Jill. And Jill, perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about the sorts of projects that you've done over time.
Certainly. Just want to say thanks for the invitation. Pleased to be here. I guess I started originally in finance. I was accountant by trade and had been asked for a major IT firm to run a finance project. So I thought, okay, I'm in finance, I can do a project. And when I got in there, it was a really nice transition, and to start to see there are really two professions that are from a very detailed orientation, kind of step-by-step microcosm of the whole organization profession. So it flowed quite nicely going from a finance background into project management, and then ended up taking on project management full-time for, I'd say, over the past 10 years or so. And over the variety, since being in project management, had a variety of projects. I don't think I can say I've even done the same project twice. It's been anywhere from, I've done mainframe, we've done everything as little as from mainframe to a server, replaced the core network switches in some data centers. We've outsourced clients in their entirety. We've taken everything over, everything from the call center to their security, to their Active Directory, mail, servers, security, everything. And I mean, you even get those projects that last anywhere from, say, 3 months to 2 years. So kind of like an eclectic kind of collection of projects under my belt. So I found with OEF, the similarities, even though, we talk at a corporate level within that framework, I really found a lot of it related back to my, little nutshell of project management.
Okay, wonderful. It's very interesting. I'm looking forward to the rest of our discussion about the application of this as we look at the corporate level. The Organizational Excellence Framework publication and of course the workshop is organized in key management areas that align with business activities. And I know the words aren't always exactly the same in every organization when it comes to work activities or departments, but this is a snapshot of the words that are used in the chapters or in the discussion we have in the workshop. And as you look at this, what is it that comes to mind as you reflect on this and the organizations you've worked in?
Right. So when we were taking the framework course, and if I just look at, say, the first two, the governance and the leadership sections, and we started to reflect on, well, is there a clear culture of expectations? And that's your CEO. Is he giving you a visibility and transparency into what the corporation is undertaking for the year? And does the employees filtering down throughout the organization understand exactly what's going on? And the more they do, the more productive they are, and the driving forward to the same goal is, of course, the most efficient way to run the corporation. But then I started to think that's not just at the corporation level, that's also at my project level. If I'm, as a project manager, communicating to my team clearly, concisely, transparent, here's your dates, here's your expectations, then I believe, you're getting to the end of job as efficiently as possible. So it wasn't just, when I started to think about, yes, this is important to CEO level, but I can also apply it down to my projects, right? Get that clear vision, get it out to the team. Is everybody on the same page? Because famous saying you can only go as fast as your slowest member. So if everybody is on the same page and you've got clear direction, there you are. You know what? Just clears up some of the challenges that you run into on a project.
Exactly. This whole concept of alignment is really important. How everything's got to be
Mm-hmm.
aligned throughout the organization and everybody is working in their areas on their activities towards a common aim. And then that helps us be more efficient and effective at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Correct. Right. And it doesn't matter at the macro or micro level, right? You still need those efficiencies. You still need that communication is, in my opinion, the biggest challenge for PMs, because it's like if you've got everybody on the same page, you're off and running. And if you don't, you're going to know it.
Yes, and there's some of these other areas too that we were, um, discussing in the workshop, and you've been reflecting on in terms of the organization and the project level. There's the customer and the work process as an example as well.
Exactly. So you're engaging, maybe a multitude of customers, maybe one customer at the project level, but it's still the same at the corporate level versus the project level. You still need to understand your customer's environment and how do they, how are they in the market? No, this is a project. Is it under a timeline? Like, do you need to kind of facilitate certain areas? Do you need to talk to certain stakeholders? Is your customer comfortable with this? Like, at what point is your project, impacting their customers? So really, when I talk to my customer, is your customer going to be affected? Are they going to see the benefits? And through that, I find, those, again, it kind of falls back to the communication, but, you need those routine checkpoints. And it's the same thing for your CEO. He's got to understand what's going to, grow his revenue, what his customers are looking at. And then at the project level, we're doing the same thing. We're just facilitating those same concerns
Yes, and
and just trying to align everybody. Mm-hmm.
right, and as at the project level too, I'm thinking about work processes and the phases that you go through on a project and the work processes that you undertake and we're always learning, aren't we, from our activities on each and every project.
Always.
Can you speak a little bit
Right. So,
about that in the project management world?
in the project management world, we have our certain phases. And so you've got, of course, your planning where you're under discussions and you want to understand the project objective. And, you go into your analysis and your design. And from there, you're continuing to communicate back to the customer, make sure we're all on the same page. And then you go into your development where you're actually, say, for an example, building a server for an application. Everybody's on the same page. We've got the requirements. We've got to know. Then we get into the testing. We're, again, engaging the customer, continually making those improvements if the customer's got questions, if we've got changes. And then, you do the implementation and then you're supporting. So you've gone, from planning to close project, and you've got a customer that's you've been fully transparent with, and you're at the end and you're doing the lessons learned and the closing, and you're hopefully, helping your customer meet his market demands.
Yes, and we've got to be in very close contact with the customer as we're moving through the project and meeting those project objectives, helping that customer meet the needs of their customer. We have to be thinking about the entire system, don't we?
Absolutely, right? Ensuring those benchmarks are met, and if they're not, you've got to take those corrective actions, right? So again, I keep thinking about when I went through your course, it was like I saw that work process and understanding it really related back to project management so much, and that we went through these processes, and if you deviate for project management, if you deviate from those phases and you don't say resolve the analysis phase, then you're going to see those challenges pop out in later phases. You really have to kind of like work the process, be consistent, take corrective action, and then, flow into the next work process. You need to be very consistent and continually meet those benchmarks that have been set out, which is something when I really recognized that. It came through with the OEF course and the framework. I really found that resonated.
Yes, and when you think about each and every project, I mean, you're planning the project, you're allocating resources to it. Some of those resources are financial or technical, they're human resources. You're measuring your performance, and you're trying to get that project done at according to quality specifications, on budget and on time. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we have usually in a project when you're, engaging with your customer, you're noting all those specific deliverables and the times. And what it takes is you have that conversation with the customer, and then you take that back to your team and you allocate your resources so you have those specific skills assigned to your project. You're agreeing to schedules and commitments, and in there, rolling up the cost and having that all come back, and it, so you can return a quality product or deliverable on budget and on time. And it's the, similar when you look in the OEF and at the corporation level, you're doing the same thing. You're working all those work processes with the proper resources. And then so you can kind of continually to move the corporation forward. And that's exactly what I'm doing at the project level, is a little microcosm, but I'm taking my resources, working those tasks and processes and implementing a nice quality product or deliverable. And, at the end of the day, you'll have to have a finished product that your customer's happy with.
That's right. And that's what keeps a business in business, isn't it? Is finding those customers, delivering what it is they require, keeping them happy, and then it's that return and referral business that we end up enjoying at the end of the day. And so we have to keep a lot of things in mind on each and every project.
And, not only from a project manager standpoint, you have your CEO. Like I keep relating, the CEO is that, the bigger version, the corporation version, but at the project level, I mean, we're all efficiently trying to utilize our resources. You're trying to manage it, and you're trying to get the right person doing the right job at the right time, and you're trying to get that consistent and, error-free, quotation marks, error-free product at the end.
Exactly. Yes, and the organization is a system, isn't it, of these interrelated, interconnected work processes. And that's the CEO's challenge at the end of the day is to ensure the system is working really well and that everything's aligned and moving in the direction, the aim, desired aim of the organization, that vision, that mission, the goals and objectives. And if we break it down to take a look inside the organization out of all those individual projects that are going on, all of this, all the things that we're doing in the system are all moving towards a common aim or a desired aim.
And exactly. And if you're implementing your OEF strategy at the project level, it just furthers the corporation at a higher level. I mean, a corporation arguably is processes and a multitude of projects all stuck together. So if everybody's working with the same ideology at the end of the day, I think it just helps the bottom line of the corporation at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, Jill, I'd like to conclude by saying thank you very much for sharing your insights and your experiences with us today. It's been very interesting taking a look at how we can apply the learning that we have in an excellence model like the organizational excellence framework at both the project and the corporate level. And so I'd like to say thank you once again for taking some time out and sharing these insights with us.
Thank you for the invitation. I thoroughly enjoyed your course.